Welcome to tonight's episode of Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. And as always, I have a very special guest for you. Ms. Lucina Clark, founder and CEO of My Time Inc. She'll be with us for the next 30 minutes, so stay with us. You're watching Beyond Focus TV.
Beyond Focus TV allows you to discuss contemporary topics affecting the Caribbean people on both a national and local level. The show features informed guests who offer insight, debate, and evaluate various issues. Beyond Focus TV builds on the station's mission to provide useful information to the Caribbean people in New York and abroad. Beyond Focus TV, where our viewing audience can get educated, informed, and empowered.
Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel. Like I said, I have a very special guest for you. You're definitely going to enjoy tonight's episode. Lucina Clark, founder and CEO of My Time Inc. Welcome to the program.
Thank you, Lydia. It's a pleasure to be here.
It is a pleasure to have you on the program, especially because tonight's topic is so important. I think by the end of the program, a lot of people are going to have so much information. We're talking about autism, which is so... It's one of those topics that is still slightly taboo because not a lot of people, I think, they're just misinformed.
That's true. The word autism is quite scary for some people. And, my background is I'm from the Caribbean. Mm-hmm. And even talking about disabilities in the Caribbean, around the world, can be such a taboo for some people. Mm-hmm. Or it's like we say a closet disorder. No one wants to talk about it. And when it does come out, it's like, did you have a child like this?
Right.
So just talking about it, I think the awareness now is so important. And thank you so much for allowing me to be here to talk about the passion of my life, dealing with the families of children with autism.
Absolutely. I mean, My Time, when you told me what you're offering and what this actually does, not just for the children, but for the parents, this is so important. So definitely I want to give a platform for you tonight to explain that. So kind of let's take it back a little bit. I know you said you were an educator, that's where your background is. So how did this all come together for you to form My Time?
I've been an educator for about 25 years. And my passion is really dealing with the parents. When I started teaching many years ago in the classroom, I felt that connection with parents was very important. When you have a child with disability, the state or anyone, the child is the important person in this picture because you have to make sure the child gets the appropriate services for his or her education or just have functioning of life. And I felt, something is missing. Mm-hmm. The parents are just as important. I believe when you educate the parent, provide a support system for the parent, just running the household, just even dealing with a child with disability is so important. So, 10 years ago, March 2007, I was home that day. I always say it was Purim Day. It's a holiday. I work within a Jewish community. And I was at home and I was saying to myself, I need to do something different. And I've been working with this young man and his family for a long time. And the mom was so important to me in my life because I believe as a teacher, when you're teaching the child as an ABA therapist or applied behavior analysis therapist, it's important to incorporate the family. You have to generalize skills with the individuals as well. And this parent was so dear to my heart that she passed away. When she passed away, I knew that I needed to do something different. I need to connect with the families. I need to find a support system for the families, especially for the parents, or even the grandparents, or even the caregiver of a child with autism or any disability. And I said to my husband, we need to do something. And I was just sitting there and I'm thinking, we need to create something very special for these families, because even though whether it's the person who is well off, who might be wealthy or middle class or the working class or even the low economic, when you have a child with disability, your dreams and your hope is to make sure your child is a functioning and social individual.
Absolutely.
And that's what we all want as a parent. When I always give the example, when you're having a baby, you're excited, and then you all of a sudden, you have a child with a diagnosis of either autism or disability. You're like, oh my God, what did I do wrong? Did I do something? And then for some people, is it my religion? Did I pray enough or didn't I pray? Is this God giving me some sort of punishment? And it's really sad when you hear things like that. So I told my husband, we have to create an environment where parents feel safe, feel not compromised, feel not ostracized, and is able to share their concern. So henceforth, My Time Inc. became founded in 2007 in March. And by doing that, we were able to deal with the parents of these children because the commonality is like we want our child to be functioning, don't matter what, normal, typically developing or not. So we are very concerned about what we need to do. So my timing became, this new birth, it has challenges, but it is able to, our mission is to really to educate, to empower, to uplift and enlighten the families, especially the parents, because so often we look at the child, but who is looking at the parent?
So what are the type of services that you really do offer at My Time for the parents?
It's so amazing. We do an educational program where we teach parents. For example, when you have a child with disability, there's something called an IEP, Individualized Educational Plan, where you as a parent sit with a teacher, psychologist, and multidisciplinary staff that sits with you and create goals for your child to be successful and be functioning. And we do a lot of workshops, empowering the parents and giving them that advocacy strategies. What do I need to know when I go to these meetings? How can I help my child be placed in the appropriate programs? So we do educational workshops. Then we do behavioral workshops. Because of my background in behavior analysis, I felt that, even when a therapist comes to the home, the parent needs to be very astute as well. The parent needs to understand what this therapist is doing at home. Because sometimes when you're so overwhelmed, Lydia, you want someone else, a professional, to come in, to be in charge, really. And you want to feel, this person knows what he or she is doing, and I'm okay, I can take my rest. No. You have to be involved, because when that therapist leaves, you have to generalize the skills with your child, because you want your child to be functioning. So that's one of the things we do also. And my best program is the Me Time program.
Me Time?
The Me Time is a fun time, where the parents come and become divas. The men, I call them divos, You have to take care of yourself no matter what. We take our parents out to bowling, we go to the movies, we go to dinner, to galas, to functions, so they can feel that, when I was a mother before I had you, what I did, how I lived my life, even as a couple, what did you do? Because sometimes when that child comes in, everything is forgotten. They are so focused on the child with a disability and what's happening because of the behaviors the child may exhibit, they forget who they are as a couple. Or even the mother may forget to go and get her hair done, or do something exciting for themselves, even to just go and get your nails done, to stop even have a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, to take that deep breath, to say, what, I'm okay. So the Me Time is such an amazing program. And then we do the parent support, where parents come together. I said, it's not here to come and complain. It's about finding support and finding solutions. And when you look at solutions, you can have a better life. Listen, the society we live in right now is so chaotic. So many things are happening. Then you have a child with disability and people are not even accepting you, especially now during the holiday season. A lot of our families go through a lot of crisis. I remember I had one mother said to me, Thanksgiving is coming. My sister said to me, you can come, but don't bring your son.
Oh, yeah, no, I've heard that a lot. They prefer not to have them because when you have a house full of other people, it may be a little embarrassing or awkward, and it's a lot to deal with. Not saying that's appropriate,
right?
But I have heard that, and definitely, those are all things that if you're on the receiving end of that,
it's not a good thing.
It's definitely not a good feeling.
I think, also too, like one of the things we do at My Time, also as far as with the parent support and even the Me Time, I talk about mindfulness and being at present, being in the moment and accepting the situation for who you are. How can you change?
Well, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. Stay with us. Welcome back. You're watching Beyond Focus TV. I'm Lydia Patel, sitting here with Lucina Clark. So, Lucina, right before we took the break, you were talking about just how important it is to have these systems in place for the parents, doing me time. If I always kind of believe in that, I call it the oxygen mask theory. You got to secure your mask before you can secure somebody else's. So I can't be a good parent or help or provide services to somebody else if I'm not in a good place. So I think that's all part of, it's not selfish to take me time. And there's a lot of people who look at that and be like, oh, it's so selfish because you're a mother, no longer could you go get your hair done or take care of yourself. And I'm like, I don't know who made up that rule.
You know what? I think, sometimes, when I'm a parent. I have two children myself. I have a 29-year-old, 30, and a 24-year-old, And I always believe in taking care of myself. I love to do my makeup. I love to look great. And we tell the world we're being fabulous. When we were created in His image of love, and we have to take care of ourselves, and even not only being a mother, most of us are wives as well. And we have to know how we are balancing ourselves. Where are you taking time for yourself? It is so important, because when you take that deep breath in and you release, you have to be able to release and know, what, I can deal with that stress at this moment. Because, when we talk about autism, autism is a neurological disorder that affects the children's communication, whether it's verbal and nonverbal skills, and also their social skills, which is one of the things. How do we react with each other? You and I having a conversation, we look at body language, look at, the response, nodding the head or looking at the eyes, or, having some form of communication. And for some of our children with autism, that piece, that social piece, is a big piece that's missing. That's why there are many programs now for social skills and social appropriateness for our children to learn, so they can understand the cues. And even as a parent, I tell the parents, what, even though we have professionals to help us, or teachers to come to the home, or therapists, you are the role model. You are the one the child is going to be looking up to no matter what. And if you cannot have that low frustration tolerance, or you're being so out of it and you can't control who you are, and you're getting so upset and angry because of the situation, how can your child, sometimes parents think, I tell them, your child senses how you feel. Sometimes we think that the children don't understand who we are. Our kids sense and picks up our mood, our emotions. Now I always give the example. The child is going to school at 8 o'clock in the morning. If the child wakes up at 7:45, and you have to rush prepare the breakfast, get him together, get her together, everyone is frantic. You feel so razzled or raveled for the morning. How do you think the child's going to feel? What if you just step back and say, okay, the child's going to school at 8, I'll get up at 7. Prepare the breakfast, and when the child gets up, he or her has have their lunch or their breakfast or whatever, and they all leave in a positive manner. You kiss them goodbye, you hug them, you're having a calm day. It's the same way how we set the tone for the morning. I always tell my husband, every morning I say, listen, I have a blessed day. I am having a favored day. And I know by the end of the day, there's something favored in my life. And you have to be positive. And I think one of the things is attitude, the mindset. And when we start having that mindset of whether being calm or at peace and knowing what we're doing, it's quite important. And parents, when dealing with a child with disability, it's not easy. There are some days you have great days. There are some days with a child with autism, you have explosive days. They sometimes get little timers, time they're just ticking. And you don't know when that child's going to react in inappropriate behavior. So by you being educated and empowered through with My Time Inc. and what we do, you are getting the tools. I tell the parents, I'm as real as you can get me. I'm very straightforward, but you have to take care of you. Again, when you were saying with the oxygen mask, when you're flying and you're in a plane, when the oxygen mask falls out, it goes on your face first. You take that deep breath so you can help your child. And that's what parents have to start doing a lot. Take that time for yourself, because if you fall apart, sometimes I tell parents, this is why I'm so busy, I can't take a day off to come to a workshop, or I can't do this. I said, listen, you're easily replaceable. And anything can happen to you at the split of a moment. So you need to learn to take that time.
Yes.
Let your boss understand, what, I have a child with a disability, and I need to be able to be focused myself, to find the time to spend with him or her. Whether it's to go to a workshop so I can educate myself, I can